Good afternoon, Melbourne and Victoria. Welcome to humanity. Welcome back to the world. It's been a long, dreaded lockdown that we are all out of it. And wish you all the best wherever you are. Do something nice. Do something that makes you feel uplifted. And one of the things that I did today in the morning is to have a cup of coffee. What Melbourneians can else do, right? Have a cup of coffee. If I'm in India, I'd go probably and have chai. Here I go and have coffee. So big shout out to Sarah McKenna. She organized this, and we had really, great coffee, great chat, and also the weather is absolutely sensational. Before Melbourne starts to throw the crap at you from tomorrow, so enjoy as much as you can. But if you're listening to this for the first time, my name is Naishad, and I've been doing this show with Caroline Brown for last over 1.5 year now. Today is our 228th episode. We consider this is the world's longest running LinkedIn live show. If somebody beats it to us, we'll probably beat them soon, right? But yeah, great to be back on the show again after a week's break. And we are absolutely delighted to have Emma Butler here. She's coming all the way from Brisbane. And we are really excited to talk about what else but Cards Against Insanity. That's pretty
That would
much it. That's
be
what we do. That's what
Cards
we
Against
do. I think
Insanity. Hang on.
that's it. That's what we do. In fact, my kids can also recite the whole thing as well. But
We need a
no, it's
jingle,
great.
Nate. We need a
I
jingle.
I think
Something
yeah, that's a
catchy
good
going.
idea. That's a good idea. I think I can go to Fiverr and find somebody who can do great stuff on LinkedIn
Hmm.
on Jingle. Let me put that park that thought for a second, and we're going to chat with Emma about two particular cards, and but I'll leave it to Caroline to explain what are we going to talk about. Caroline.
You think by now that I would have mastered the product placement, that people can see on the camera, but I haven't. So, yes, just going back to the jingle, we need a jingle. I think I once hired a sock puppet to promote an app. That the sock puppet made me laugh, and probably just a couple of other people. But anyway, that's the whole point. Yes, really delighted to have you here today, Emma. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to talk about a couple of the cards that you identified as being resonating with you. But before we do that, perhaps just you've just launched your business, so perhaps give people a brief understanding of what you're doing with that. That would be great.
Okay, yep. So this week I've just launched my career development business. It's called CDS Career Development Services. I believe that Nashad's going to put a link onto the website somewhere, so people can have a look at the services on there. There it is. So basically, I provide career guidance and in-depth career counselling. So it's not just an information and advice service. It's also a lot of guidance, especially in these changes with the COVID pandemic and people losing jobs. People may be losing faith and worrying about job security and what they're doing at the moment. They may need to want to look at another career or just be sure that they are still going along the right path. There's also your general job preparation, which is resume help, cover letters, interview skills, that kind of thing, how to source labour market information, which is also very important in the changes in the world of work at the moment, so that you know where the growth industries are and what's happening in the next 10 years. Career change assistance if people want to change career, and if they need help with recognising what their strengths and abilities, values, motivations are for work. There's lots of different things around that, and I know we're going to be talking about some tools that I use later for career assessment. And we also help with redundancy services too, because I know there's been a lot of redundancies with COVID. Even before that, there were in industry, casual workers, for instance, that are struggling and going from job to job. So I can help people to find something a bit more stable or to look at a different path maybe, and what is their ideal job. So yeah. So if you
Fantastic.
go on the website, there's a lot more things I provide too, but on the website it's very self-explanatory of all the different services, and my contact details are on there too.
Excellent. So maybe the first place, just given what you said, one of the cards that you pulled out was about finding your North Star. So finding that direction that can help you find a satisfying career. Why do you see having that kind of guidance or that direction as being really important?
Firstly, if you're in a role that you really, really love, you get up every day for work, you're excited to go to work, and it does happen because I love my job. I've
Like
been
how
a
you
career
say
counselor for
that.
17 years in different government contracts, and I absolutely do. So, yeah, you wake up every day, you feel happy, you feel fulfilled, and you feel you've got a purpose in life if you're doing something you enjoy doing. If it aligns to your skills, to your values, to your motivations for work, to your strengths, and you can master these skills that you've got mastery of, you can use in the job. It really helps with job satisfaction. Also, importantly, mental health wise. So it really helps with your confidence, to build up your confidence. If you're doing something you enjoy doing and you're really good at it, then you get credit from managers, or just a thank you, or an email going around saying this person has done this, well done, or you can get an award at work for what you've done. It really is a boost of your confidence and self-esteem. If you're in a job that you really don't enjoy and you're getting up every day, and many people do it because we all need to work to afford to live, and you feel unhappy, it can really set in depression and a lot of mental health issues. And I know that's happened a lot around COVID, and people losing jobs and losing their direction in life and not really knowing what to do. So that's why I feel it's really important to get some advice from a career practitioner, get some help there, and to find your true north, to find your ideal place in a career.
What do you think for people? There's like, what do you think are the indicators that you are aligned, that you have found your true north? What are some of the things that people might experience when they've done that?
Oh, they're just so happy. They're so elated. They feel fulfilled. Um, I get a lot of thank yous for helping people. In my past, I've helped people change direction. It's really good with people like adults returning to the workforce.
Mm,
If you can give them that guidance, and if they've been out of work, if they're a single parent, say, or they just want a carer or parent that wanted time out of work to bring up their children, people that haven't been in the workforce for a long time, they've already got a lack of confidence and a
mm,
lack of self-esteem regarding careers. So with guidance, that can really, really help that. And you can see the difference in people and when they contact you. I've dealt with people that have had breakdowns due to the job they've been in. It's because it's been so stressful and they've had very high
mm,
targets to meet. And there was one person I dealt with, an adult, and he was in a sales job in engineering, and he was so stressed. He ended up having to give his notice in, and he was off work for a few months with um, depression and anxiety, and he basically had a breakdown. So
mm,
he came to me after all this and said, I have no idea what to do. This is all I've done, and I just cannot do it anymore. I can't deal with it anymore. I've got a child, and things have changed in my life. So I gave him the careers guidance over a number of appointments, probably 6 or 7 appointments. I spent an hour of time with him, and we went through some of the tools which we'll go through after, that you can use to help people identify the strength, values, interests, um,
mm,
things that they want to do. Who are they? What is their personality? What are their motivations? And we went through that, and then through a series of appointments right up to doing a really good resume. We worked through that together. He ended up going into teaching adults who had literacy and numeracy issues. So he did the year of the course. You can do the postgrad teaching course, because he had an engineering degree from a
mm,
while back, a few years ago, and he did the teaching course and ended up doing that. And then I contacted him a couple of months later and asked how he was. He was just so happy, so elated. He was a different person. So when you
mm.
ask, how do you know? You
Yeah,
know, like, he was so
yeah,
different. He was so thankful. I changed his life, and I'm like, no, you changed your life. I just helped in the
mm,
process.
mm,
You've done this. You've done all the hard work. He'd finished his course. He got a job at the local TAFE, which was absolutely excellent. Not much travelling, and he was just so happy. And he even was in the process of writing a book to help other people
Mm,
that were in the situation.
mm,
Yeah, it was amazing. And that's just one of the stories I've got. There's plenty that
mm.
are very similar. So,
That's amazing. I think we do have this thing that work, I don't know if it's a Protestant work ethic, it's every religion's work ethic, that work must be hard. So,
yeah,
and
that
it's
is true.
sometimes we just don't question that. Like, it's just we sort of get into this rush and we go along, and, you know, sometimes it's like you have to have a crisis or a breakdown, or something happens to make you realize that you're not happy, basically. So, and Nash, you've
Burnout.
had, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Nash had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
turnaround. So
yeah, I did. I did. From engineer to being a careers counselor. But what I was, going back to what Emma said, one of the thing is that, it's like North Star is sometimes it's a blind spot too. That
mm,
I don't, you can see others blind spot. If somebody comes to your friend and say, "I'm so miserable, man. I just don't like it." It's easy for you to in a flick of a second figure out, you know what, you should do what you enjoy, man. You should, this is what you got to do, right? This, I think I'm missing, what you enjoy. It's so easy, right, to see the blind spot in someone else, because it's there, it's in front of you. It's like, I consider these moments as the moments that a fish can never know what is air. Fish will never experience, because fish has always lived in water. So for her or him to understand that there is something out of water, he or she has to get out of it to
That's right.
experience no water, right? And I think
That's
that's a great way to think about is there's North Star, it's amazing and everything else, but it requires you to bit of, pause as well, and say, you know what, let me figure it out. You can continue to do what you're doing. It depends, on situations. Emma, your client's situation to someone else's situation may be different, and we are
sure.
not, at least I don't suggest to people that you quit that unless you find that just completely unworkable. But you can still find your North Star, and you can still continue to kind of progress, move that Titanic a bit by bit in the direction of the North Star. Titanic
That's
probably
exactly
not
right.
the right example, because they did
I
not
get
move,
what you
right?
mean.
But what I'm saying is that you can move that. It's not that it's impossible to move. So tell us about some of the examples, because in this
Mm,
Cards Against Insanity, we give you list of the tools that you can use for free. Okay, you don't have to pay anything.
that's right.
And I think that gives you a lot of, it kind of gives you a lot of, tests to do, like strengths to values to what do you enjoy, and you can then kind of figure it out, take those stuff, and either you go to a friend, either to go to career practitioner like ourselves, and then we can help you to dismantle that and make it
Mm,
more relevant for you. Tell us about
mm.
some of your favorite tools, Emma.
So, via character is a really good one, which you've actually got listed on the back of the cards. You can't really see, but there you go. So, with these QR codes here, that's you can just scan that on the phone, and as you know, when it comes up with ideas or templates for things, and it's really, really good. I've had a go at that, and it's very good. So it's worth getting the cards. But yeah, My Character's brilliant. It's a free questionnaire online. 15 minutes it takes to answer the questions, and it comes up with your strengths. So with that, you can use that to help to build your confidence, because some people think that if they've been in a job for a while, or they haven't been in a career for a long time, they think they don't really have a lot to offer. But when you do these questionnaires, you actually realize you do have a lot to offer. So it can help to build your positive mindset and your confidence and your self-esteem, to actually think, I can do this, I can change career, or I can try and get a promotion in the company I'm in and do a little bit more training and upskilling, you know. Um, with the Skills Road's another one. So the schools like to use Skills Road for the younger ones. I've used it when I've worked in TAFE previously with apprentices. That's another short questionnaire, 15, 20 minutes online. And that looks more at your skills, values, and interests. So obviously with these being free, you can do as many as you want. You could do via character to look at strengths. You can do skills road to look at your interests and your values, and what skill level you're at and what you've got. And it generates a list of possible career options. And this is where, like Nashard, you were saying, you need somebody to go through it with you, whether it be a friend you trust that, you know, has got a good idea about these things, or a career practitioner or something, to go through what the results are. Because I remember when I was at school and they did these on the old printers, the old dot matrix printers, you get your list of, you answered about 10 questions, you get your list. My top one was grave digger. Okay. Not really my kind of thing. Like, I don't want to work outside. I don't want to do heavy work, you know. I haven't really got the build to do it either. So, you know, you can come up, and sometimes you get these things and it'll come up with randoms. But the thing is when you go through them, it's not always looking at that particular role, it's looking at what it involves. So you could not, a grave digger was a really extreme example, and this was in the 1980s. They're a lot better now, these assessments. But if you come up with something and it's something you didn't really think about, if you just look at the options in there, what there's in there, what would you be doing in the job? Are you dealing with people all the time? Are you, you know, is there a lot of communication and you enjoy that? Is it office work and you want to do that over working outside? You know, it's really important, the debrief. You don't just do the questionnaire and go, oh no, that's rubbish. It's get somebody to have a look through it with you. It's really important, so you get a good value. And then there's My Future's a really good one. That's a government one. That's free as well. A lot of people use that. Adults can use it as well as school leavers, anybody. That also looks at your skills, values and interests, and generates study options. You can look up courses on there that are relevant, that links to training.gov, where all the training packages and the proper, you know, RTO registered courses are on there. And you can also build a career profile in there, and that's really useful for career planning. So you can go as far as you want with My Future. There's a lot of different aspects, and they revamped it a couple of years ago. It's so much better even than it used to be. There's bullseye posters on there that help. If you look at a certain occupation, it will help with all the different roles you can get in that industry, different levels, you know, different roles that you may not have thought of. There's videos on there of people working in the industry you can look at as well. Like I said, links to training.gov to see if there's any courses you can do to upgrade. And the career profile, you can build all this on things you've found out and actually generate yourself a career plan, which is what's important. So like Nashard was saying earlier, you know, you don't need to just jump ship if you're not happy in your job. You know, we need to pay bills, etc. But you can look at planning. Career planning is really essential for that. So you can have a long-term plan. It might be 5 years, might be more. You don't have to do something straight away. But if you're working towards these goals and this career profile helps you to do that, then you know you're getting somewhere. So you're not so bad in the job you don't like, because you know eventually you're going to be in something you really want to do and you're working towards that. So that's a really good one too. There's many more out there, but they were the ones that I kind of picked out. I like the best.
Yeah, I think you probably undersold a little bit, Emma, the benefit of having a coach or a career counsellor like yourself, which is you have these tools and you can, you know, there can be maybe some conflicting information or whatever, but I think it's about having somebody that can see, that doesn't know you apart from how you're presenting. So there's nothing at work but can reinforce that choice. Like, you can see that help people see that in themselves, that strength in themselves or their values in themselves, and reflect that back, because that actually might be the very first time somebody has actually had a career discussion that's outside work. It's not really related to what you're doing now. It's like an investment in your own self-awareness and self-confidence, and having that person that can advocate that for you as well. And I think, you know, that's the benefit of having a career professional like yourself, that's an outsider, that's got no other agenda but to actually help you be your best self, basically. So,
and with no judgment, because obviously if you know people, they're going to say, well, you're not that kind of person. I can't imagine you doing a job like that. You know, and oh, okay, yeah, and you trust that person. So, but if somebody from the outside says to you, have you thought about, have you seen what strengths this has come up with and what they, and these, how they match this role or this kind of industry? And you can look outside the box and give other ideas of industries and labour market information. You know, is this a job that's going to be safe for quite a while and not be automated in 2 years' time, or, you know, because a lot of jobs are going automated. So yeah, you're exactly right with that. It is good if you can get an independent person, a career practitioner, to go through the results.
And in terms of, I mean, one of the things I think too that, and it's kind of when people step into the realm of what I do around job search coaching, as in, you know, how to actually activate your job search, is probably leads us into our next point around networking. So it's, you know, it's the gap between identifying your skills, your strengths, your values, your direction, and actually how to make that happen. And the other card that you pulled out was, you know, so you think you don't know anybody that can help you find a job. And I think it'd be good to sort of explore that with, you know, why that resonated with you and how you suggest that people start or kickstart that process of networking.
Yeah. So for me, networking has been very apparent over the last 3 months with my business. So before that, I was always in government contracts. I was always working as a career counsellor. When I got made redundant last year, it was a real curveball for me. I'd not been out of work before, except for when I chose to, when I first had my children. So it was quite scary, as it is. And I'm thinking, I need to do something about this. So I upskilled, did a postgrad course online, and then started my business. But then I'm like, it's all very well having a lovely website and I've done all this work and having all these resources, but how am I going to get it out there? Who knows? I've put that on there. You know, I put it up on Monday thinking I'm going to get a call naively. I knew I wouldn't really, but being optimistic. But I was like, how am I going to do this? So network. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I do this? First thing I did was join LinkedIn 3 months ago after I finished my postgrad course. Joined LinkedIn and I looked at other people that were in the profession, in the industry. So career practitioners, career counsellors, organisational psychologists. So that's a really good point. LinkedIn is brilliant. Create a profile on there. It's pretty easy. I've got a handout too I've done of how to create a profile for people that aren't tech savvy or, you know, never done that before. But if you put up a profile on LinkedIn, I mean, viewers today would have a profile. They're on here. That is a fantastic way of reaching people. So I met you two through LinkedIn, obviously. The first thing I did was I followed Nashard, so because he does a similar role to me. So I did that and noticed about these Friday shows, and I thought that looks really interesting because I can use it to help my clients the information. So I joined that. I put lots of comments on because I was interested in it. So that's another good tip for networking. Comment on things, you know, join people in the industry, connect with people in the industry that are on LinkedIn. Put posts up as well if you're confident enough to. I can understand at first people aren't. But if you connect with people, you can follow people too. So you don't have to actually say, will you be my friend? You know, because people get scared. It's not the same as Facebook, you know. It's obviously a professional outlet. It's a professional social platform. So, and at the end of the day, you're looking for career opportunities or advice or help, and you're looking up to experienced people in your field. But if you can follow people, not necessarily have to connect with them, and then you can put posts on there. And I did this with a professor who was based in New South Wales. He's his big name, and all these unis have connected with him and everything. And I'm thinking, so I did this, and I was writing comments, posts. He was an organizational psychologist, and he put really positive, amazing posts on about how people feel about at work, and it was all the psychology behind careers, and it was really fascinating. And then yesterday I thought, I wonder if he'll connect with me. So I connected, and then 10 minutes later he accepted it. So this is proof that you don't have to know people. LinkedIn is not Facebook, where you try to get as many friends as you can and tell them what you're having for dinner. or whatever other people want to do on Facebook. It's a professional forum where you're trying to get your name out there for LinkedIn, and you're trying to connect with people in the field, and it does actually work. I've not had anybody that I've connected with that's rejected me or blocked me as a friend. You know what I mean? So it's a brilliant way of networking, because many people might be on here but not really using it in the way it's meant to be used. You can upload your resume on there. You can put your photo. You can put your experience, your skills, your qualifications. So anything that you feel is good in your industry that you've got that you can contribute, you can put on there. So that is a really good way of networking with people. Other ways, I'm thinking, if people aren't so comfortable with just putting messages on LinkedIn, attend networking events. They're really good. For me, it would be going to career expos and trying to have a stand at a career expo. But there's lots of networking events around. There's lots of, which will be more next year, sorry, but there's lots of webinars. There's these podcasts where you can interact with people. Find one that's around in your industry. So you can search for occupations, you can search for things in LinkedIn, and then it will come up with people in the industry you want to go into or you're already in, and link with people and find out. And then you'll get alerts through of when these events are on, either in person from next year or just purely these kind of podcasts where you can interact and where you can chat and ask questions and get some advice or some links that are useful. So that's another good way.
I think you've
Yeah,
you go, Nish.
yeah, no. In fact, no, I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but I drew a doodle. I'm just going to do that here, show it to people here. I drew a doodle specifically on networking paradox. I think you'll be able to see that now. And this is something that came about just because of the work that what me and Caroline and a lot of other people have been up to. And if you see that, we actually build relationships in a kind of inversely proportional way to how it is supposed to be built. When you not about LinkedIn, and I think generally when we connect with people, we immediately think of asking them for what we are looking for. Like if you're looking for a mortgage broker and you meet somebody and say, you know what, I'm looking for a mortgage broker, that's easy, right? But specifically in the context of seeking help to seeking a job, you just don't burn that before you even start to build a relationship. There's a kind of a, what I'm trying to say is that there's steps, not necessarily that one follows the after, but there's to be some logic behind it, behind you building that kind of a relationship, and I think asking for a job in the context of careers is the last thing to do. There are various steps that you go through where you feel confident. Now I think our relationship is at a point where I can ask the question, to this person, ask for a favor to this person. That's what I want you to consider, whether you're on LinkedIn or off LinkedIn too. I think there are some fundamental rules, or not so much rules, but kind of steps that you want to climb those steps rather than just going to the end one. That's what I would suggest in terms of how networking really. And everybody has a different kind of flavor to it. Everybody thinks differently on that one. Some people hate LinkedIn, and I have nothing against. I don't get paid by them anyway, right? So I've got nothing against it. People. It's not that people who don't use LinkedIn do not have great networks, right? They are in a different vocation. They don't sometimes need that, and absolutely, I think we got to be able to take relationship beyond LinkedIn. If you're, obviously pandemic is different times, but you got to be able to take the relationship on a phone call after that, because otherwise you're just sending emails and everything, messages and everything else. It's not really connecting with someone. Caroline.
Yeah, I think that networking paradox really resonated with me. But just, a few things that you've said, Emma, in building up your own business and going back to that thing about knowing nobody, it's an exact analogy for how to do it. You've started off with something that you're really interested in, which is like careers, and you've looked to see who's in that space talking about careers. And then there's been people like Nation, myself, that you've seen us and commented, and that's ultimately why we're chatting now on the show, because of the interest that the genuine interest that you've shown. And then with the university person, it's like connecting, supporting what they do and commenting and connecting at the point of time that you feel that you've built a relationship and your comfort levels as well. So one of the things that we recommend on the cards, but I recommend with my clients as well, is to find the hubs. So if you find people that are connected with other people, half your networking is done for you. So there's the people that are making a contribution on LinkedIn in terms of podcasts and live streams and blogs and things like that. They can accelerate your impact, a 100-fold. So, for example, appearing on our show will connect you with all of the audience that have, potentially clients and customers and so forth for you. So, yeah, exactly what Emma's done is what is absolute A-grade, world gold networking strategy in action. One thing I will say about that paradox is that I've found, a lot of people hold themselves back from the ultimate ask, which is, can I meet with you, or can I seek some advice from you, or could we connect up in some way? And I think a lot of people are a lot more willing to do that earlier on in the piece, but we ourselves don't have the confidence to actually do that. So one thing I would encourage people is to just make the ask, like you did in connecting, is actually just step out a little bit from your comfort zone, because you will find more people, if you do it in the right way, will say yes versus no. And probably the worst thing that people do is ignore you. So you just don't get an answer. But what's been your experience, Emma, with that? Like in terms of people that you don't know, have you looked at your sort of success rate in making connections and things like that?
Yeah, they've all connected, but it wasn't like from day one I thought, oh, I'll connect with them. I would comment on things because I'm interested, and then they know, and then they see my name a lot, and they're like, oh, okay, they're in career development. And you notice after a few comments over a few days or a couple of weeks that those people are looking at your profile, because it says on there who viewed your profile. So you see that they've looked at your profile. So you think, oh, okay, well, they seem quite, interested. They've obviously taken the time out to see who I am. So I don't connect straight away, but I don't have some kind of really planned strategy on timeframes, because like you said, Carolyn, everyone's different. So, some people are happy if you connect quite soon after, which I did with Nashard, but other people probably would think it was, they've been a little bit pushy or something. So I don't know. I just feel when the time's right, if I've made enough comments and I've had a look at my profile, I feel more confident that I've got a little bit of trust there. But like you said, you don't then just straight away ask for a job. Like in the paradox, it's the last thing you do. People think that's the first thing. Like the old days, you go and knock on the door of a business and say, here's my resume, can I have a job? Although in trades that can sometimes still happen, but in a lot of industries, no, especially with COVID. Who are they? Have they been tested? Have they had the injections? All this kind of stuff. So it's kind of, people are a bit more funny with face-to-face stuff at the moment. So yeah, I mean, down the track, if you feel confident that you can ask for a quick chat, so are we okay, which I did with Nashard, are we okay just to have a 10-minute Zoom meeting, is that all right, or is a phone call better for you? And let them choose the day and time, and make sure that you're available whenever it is, because they're going to be helping you out. But another important thing is that you've got something to offer them too. It's not all a one-way system. It's a two-way. It's a conversation you're having with someone. It's a two-way thing. You don't want to be all me. I'm asking for a job. I want this help, that help. Can you help? Think about how you can help them out in some way. Ask them questions. How are they doing? Start off with things like that. rather than just about yourself and what's happening with you. It's like building up a friendship, but in a professional capacity. You don't just suddenly go to a friend and say, will you be my friend? It takes trust and build and confidence to get to a point where you can actually ask for favors and you can also help them out in some way too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny, on that card, we talk about Dunbar's rule of how many connections people have. So if you think that you know nobody, average number of connections or median number of connections, I think, is 150 based on that rule. So somebody in your network's going to know somebody else or have that level of connection as well. Just say, for example, if you're new to Australia or new to a city or new to a profession, you may know nobody, but guarantee that other people will know you as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
agree with you on that one.
definitely quality. About quality, not quantity. It's not how many people can I connect with. So, oh, great, you've got all these connections on your list. That doesn't matter if you're not getting any help or they're not valuable connections. It's another Facebook thing. How many friends have you got on Facebook? When it first came out, it was like so important. I've got 500. Oh no, I've only got 450. And you just get making friends with people you don't even like. I used to get people in different countries all around the world that I'd never even met just asking to be my friend. And I'm like, but LinkedIn is different. It's more about the quality and people you're interested in. It's not about linking with people to go, what can they do for me? It's about, well, I'd really like to meet this person because they're really interesting and I like what they do. I like their work, and I want to find out what they do and get some. When they put posts up, you can learn things and people put links on there and blogs and things. And I've learned things writing my resources from people on LinkedIn. I've learned a little bit more even. So it's good for that too.
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, Emma, thank you very much for coming along on today's show and sharing your wisdom. I've put Emma's website over there. Please feel free to connect with Emma and start your networking. How about that, right? And also go and get this box of cards. This is the wrong way, isn't it? Yeah, this one. Right, get these cards against
Really good.
insanity. I'm going to put the link again for those people who've been naughty enough not to buy that. So thank you for coming along. I'm going to put the link now. Please go ahead and get yours as well, so that you can also stop going mad on the job hunt and find the job quicker. And Emma, thank you again for coming along.
No problem. Just one thing on link. I'm on LinkedIn too. Emma Butler. If you just put it in, or if you put Emma Butler CDS, I come up straight away on Google, even at the top. So you feel free to connect with me. Not a problem. There starts someone's network off then. See.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you, Emma.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed the
Thanks for inviting
conversation.
me. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, or if you're watching this on LinkedIn, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got other videos on there as well around searching for a job. So that's called Career Care Package. Please follow the hashtag Career Care Package and the hashtag Cards Against Insanity. Naish, is there anything else that you want to tell people?
No, nothing. Just be responsible when you go out on the weekend. And if you're one of those who's not being jabbed so far, please do that so that we can all start to enjoy our freedom. And next Friday, we don't know who's coming, but I think that someone would be magnificent again. So keep that in mind, and we will see you next week. Until that, have a safe one, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Hey.